Hey everyone, Timothy here. Welcome back to my role-playing game channel. And speaking of role-playing games, as you see, we got the Wikipedia page loaded up for the Doctor Who role-playing game. The Doctor Who role-playing game is a Doctor Who role-playing game published by FASA back in 1985. The FASA Corporation, by the way, FASA is an acronym that's Fedorian Aerodyne and Space Administration, I believe. Anyway, the game allows players to assume similar roles to the Doctor and his companions, or as agents of the Celestial Intervention Agency. We're going to be talking about this game today because I'm going to be making a character for you today. Well, not necessarily for you, but I mean, I'm going to let you see the character creation process. And I'm hoping that'll actually help you understand the next video that's going to come out. I'm going to be taking one of the more classic Doctor Who episodes, and I'm going to kind of show you how to get some of the results in that that you see happen in that through the role-playing game. Now, the game is set based on the program and used the program as its primary source material. The main set of 3 rulebooks was followed by several separately published adventures and supplements for the game, which provide details about the Daleks, the Cybermen, and the Master. The supplements also contain 2 pamphlets, one for players and one for game masters. In 2 printings, one showed painted artwork, of the 4th Doctor and Leela. The other, a publicity photograph of them. Neither the 4th Doctor or Leela at that date still appeared in the series. The painted printing had interior rulebooks with slick white covers, while the photographic edition featured more textured brown Victorian-style rulebooks. This, by the way, is the version I have, is the photographic edition. FASA also published 2 solo play game books, Doctor Who and the Vortex Crystal, back in 1986 by William H. Keith Jr., featuring the 4th Doctor, Sarah Jane Smith, and Harry Sullivan, and the Daleks. It's set on the planet Gathwir, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and Doctor Who and the Rebels Gambit, back in 1986. Also by William H. Keith Jr., and this one features the 6th Doctor, Perry Brown, and Harry Sullivan, and that one's set during the American Civil War. The system it uses is, the game mechanics were based on, though not identical to, the Star Trek RPG, which was also published by FASA. I actually used to have that Star Trek RPG. I don't have it anymore. I gave it to a friend when I was in the military. Anyway, he was bigger on Star Trek and bigger on RPGs back then. But that one was kind of like... it came in a box set, and you'd have like pictures of like the Enterprise bridge. It'd be like kind of like that'd be your map, and then basically you made a character that sat at one of the stations, and it was kind of like a bridge crew kind of a setup thing. But anyway, I didn't really care for it at the time. I mean, I didn't really mess around with it that much either, so I can't tell you anything really about that. But basically what it says, the game mechanics, is basically there's 2 main types of game systems out there. There's the D20 systems. That's kind of like your Dungeons & Dragons-y kind of stuff where you roll a D20 for, your roll to attack or your saving throws. They use other dice, and the such. And that one that's pretty popular are your D6 systems. Those ones are exclusively D6s. This one is a D6 type system, though it does run differently. Most of your D6 systems, you take, like, say, you want to punch a guy, and say your dexterity is like 4 dice. And then say your ability to punch a guy, like say, let's just say that's also at 4 dice. So you'd roll 8 dice, and then depending on what you needed to hit the guy would depend on how, each on the die determined whether you were successful or not, count out how many successes you had. Another system that mimics that a lot is a D10 system called, that's done by the White Wolf group. They do D10 versions of that, so that one's not bad either. Anyway, this one actually seems kind of close to my DC Heroes RPG, which is a D10 system. And that one uses 2d10 to see if you're successful or not. It uses a couple of d6 and pretty much the same thing. Anyway, so that's kind of the Wikipedia RPG page on it. Now, obviously, because the game is back in 1985, it's probably out of print for the most part. So where do you go to find this game? Someone who's interested in buying it. Well, one place, this is Amazon, and as you can see, they do have one here. Now, as you can see, it's a little pricey, so I don't expect you guys to be rushing out to Amazon to buy it anytime soon, but you know, this is one place you can go. Another place you can go is Noble Knight Games. And now they don't have one here, but this is something you can check from time to time, is Noble Knight Games. They do have a lot of old stuff like this here, this Realms of Magic. This is a Marvel Superheroes one. That one's also out of print. But there's a lot of different places you can go. But these are the two I use the most for my out-of-print games. The last place you could probably go, and I don't know if I have it. See if I don't know if I made a picture of it here. Here we go. You can go to the FASA Corporation themselves. Now, this is the order form that came with my RPG. Obviously, as you can see, effective till July 1st, 1986. Prices as of April 1st, 1986. So, obviously, you know, those probably aren't going to be the same price. Not at all. Let's see. Nope. Not going to let me. Oh, here we are. There we go. So, like, let's see. Anyway, here's that Star Trek one I was talking about. But let's see, here we are, Doctor Who. Yeah, $17. Probably not going to be $17 anymore. But anyway, you could, oh, that's why I wanted to blow up for you, is the, I don't know if they're still at this address, and I don't know if that number is still valid. But you could probably look up on Wikipedia. In fact, why don't we just do that now? Let's go to Wikipedia and see if we can find it here. Let's see. FASA Corporation. Here we go. Let's see. They are. Let's see. Here's their web. You could probably just go right to their website here. FASA.com. You'll have to excuse my poor computer. It's been on for like 4 days. Hey, just come to their website here. archive.org/web/ all that other crap. So you can find it on Wikipedia. But yeah, they do the BattleTech. Let's see, Crimson Skies, Crucible, Shadowrun. I have a Mech Warrior RPG. I don't know if it's done by FASA though. It might be done by TSR. Actually, I think it probably is FASA since it's BattleTech. Shadowrun 2nd edition. Don't have any of these other ones. So those are 3 different places you can go to find the game itself. Now, as for the game itself, let's see if I can get out of this here. Okay, so anyway, this is what my box set looks like. It's the cover of the box set anyway. Anyway, it says the Doctor Who role-playing game. Here's our 4th Doctor, portrayed by Tom Baker. Here's Leela, who's portrayed by Louise Jameson. We see our familiar TARDIS in the bottom left. The game is called Adventures Through Time and Space. And then on the bottom right, you see your FASA logo. Anyway, this is one of the books that comes with it, the Player's Manual. As you can see, it's the brown Victorian area kind of thing like it was talking about. Anyway, this is the people that we can thank for our wonderful Doctor Who role-playing game. The concept was by Michael P. Bledsoe. The design was by the FASA design staff and Phantasmulations Associates. The writing was by William John Wheeler and Guy W. Claymore Jr. Boy, I'm really not doing good with these names. The staff was by Mr. Wheeler, and a proofreading was done by Donna Ippolito. The production staff, the graphic design was by Jordan K. Wiseman. The layout was by Dana M. Knutson, Todd F. Marsh, and Jane K. Bigos. Typesetting was by Karen Vander May. Illustrations were by Dana M. Knutson, Tom F. Marsh, Jane K. Bigos, I don't know how to say that name. David Dietrich, William H. Keith, and David R. Marsh. And then here's the FASA Corporation, and here's the BBC licensing, you know, and all that stuff there. Anyway, let's see. The next book that came with it, that's going to be the most important book for making your character, is the Player's Manual. Here is a source book for field agents. This book has a lot of your NPCs in it. It has like stats on the Doctor and a lot of the companions. And I'm not going to read everyone on, oops, not going to read everyone on this one, but it's probably going to be a lot of the same people. So anyway, I'll just kind of slide it down. If you care enough, you can go ahead and pause the video and, write it down if you actually care about that sort of thing. And lastly, we have our game operations manual. This is kind of like your GM's handbook. It gives you a lot about how to run the game and a lot about how to design worlds and all this. It's thing here. Again, a lot of the same people, so it's kind of how those things work. And then you already saw the order form. Anyway, so character creation, as you see, we have the lovely Perry Brown down there and Tom Baker. One of the first things you do is you choose a race. The game has 2 races available for you as player characters. The first one being humans and the other one being Gallifreyans. If you're a new player to the game, it's typically recommended that you play a human, even if you are, maybe a Doctor Who buff. The reason for that is that, typically your GM will make like their own Gallifreyan Time Lord type character, and then the players will play the humans that kind of, that'll be the guy that's kind of like your quest giver, and then you guys are going to be doing the grunt work for your doctor of sorts, I mean, granted, sometimes maybe depending on the group, like maybe if the GM doesn't want to run a doctor type character, or, a Gallifreyan or whatever, then maybe they'll have maybe a player who's good at role playing, or maybe a player who knows a lot about the Doctor Who universe. Maybe that person will play the Gallifreyan, and then the rest of the group will kind of be that character's companions. Either way, there's no real difference between humans and Gallifreyans in the game, except for pretty much the regeneration and aging process. That's the only difference. There's no attribute differences, no bonuses or penalties. They're basically the same thing. Anyway, so the next thing you do is your attributes. So your attributes are basically these are your attribute performance levels. You have 6 attributes. You have strength, endurance, dexterity, charisma, mentality, and intuition. They're all pretty self-explanatory for what they do. Strength, obviously, is how much you can lift. Endurance is kind of like how it's kind of like a physical health kind of a thing. Dexterity is your agility, charisma is your ability to talk, mentality is how smart you are, intuition is kind of like how you notice things around you, sort of a thing. Anyway, so as you can see here, we have 7 different levels. These are called performance levels that an attribute can be. Each attribute will have its own performance level. At the beginning of character creation, your character automatically starts with level 3 basic with 6 points already in it. Okay? So basically, already starting off the top, without spending any points whatsoever, you already begin with your basic ability. Normal humans, by the way, start with 1 handicapped. I kid you not, that's what the game says. I don't know if that's a misprint or a typo, but I mean, apparently normal people kind of suck in this game. Anyway, so basically you start with some points, and I don't know if I can, probably not going to come in too clear on this one here. I had to use my shaky camera here. No, it's not going to come in. Anyway, so on this page, basically what it says up here, it says basically you take 2 6-sided dice and you roll, and then you add that number to 36. My own character, I rolled a 9, so that gave me 45 points. 9 plus 36 is 40. I'll show you my character here in just a few minutes. Then after you get your stats done, I guess I should go back to the other page. So basically, if you want to have, say, an attribute go from, like, say you want your strength to be a little higher. Say you want it to be at performance level 4. So the difference between 10 and 6 is 4. So you spend 4 points to bring your 6 to a 10. So that's basically how. So if you wanted all your stats to be at, say, level 4, that'll cost you 4 times 6 is 24 points. So it's not real pricey on the points. So even if you start with, say, even if you roll like, snake eyes, you'd have 38 points. So, I mean, that's still pretty decent stats. And since the stats can't go to 3, you're actually still going to get a pretty decent character. So, don't be one of those guys that are always, oh man, I only rolled this. Look, honestly, this game isn't really that super dice heavy. It's what you kind of call a rules light system. It's more focused towards the role playing than it is the actual dice rolling. I think when I ran this back in like 96, 97 for a buddy of mine, And that's really my only experience with the game was I ran it one time. I think I had him roll dice maybe 3 times the whole session. Honestly, we were having so much fun role playing. But anyway, so after that, you would roll a special ability. You get to roll 3d6 for this, and you just add them up. So as you can see here, these are the abilities. Healing just allows you to heal a little bit faster than normal. Telepathy, just pretty self-explanatory. You talk to people. Hypnotism, this allows you to implant suggestions in people. Position sensing, you just kind of always know where you are. Unusual strength, mentality, endurance, charisma, and dex. Basically, if you get one of those, you just add 5 to that attribute score, which can change your performance level. No special ability means you don't get nothing. I don't know what luck does. I've never actually looked at it. Blending, probably, I don't know, I guess that one would probably make it easier for you to blend into it. Maybe it gives you a bonus on stealth. Empathy probably helps you in conversation. You move things with your mind. And of course, roll 18, you can get other or roll twice. Other kind of falls into the GM kind of making up their own power. Basically, I believe Lady Romana has one of these. She has what's called controlled regeneration, where basically a Time Lord doesn't really have any real control over it. I mean, you can attempt it. There's a roll for it. It's a pretty difficult roll. But with controlled regeneration, I think it makes that roll a little easier. Anyway, after you got all your stats done and basically you got your special ability picked out, then you go to your endurance statistics. The first one is maximum operating. Basically, at the beginning of the game, this is going to be what your endurance score is. And then your current operating endurance is going to be the same thing. This game uses kind of an energy system like Champions. Basically, your endurance is kind of like your stamina. It's your ability to do things. Like every time you do something, it costs you stamina in a turn. So basically, like if you want to say run to a location then shoot a guy, then it'll take you X amount of energy to run from this distance to that distance. Obviously, shorter runs are less enduring than longer runs. And then if you want to shoot a guy, that costs you so many endurance points also. They're actually called action points. And basically, as your character takes damage, it's kind of a complicated system. I mean, I'll get into it more in the next video. You'll see everything that you need to know. Anyway, when you've taken damage, you have what's called a wound heal rate. And basically, this is basically your endurance score every 24 hours. So say your endurance score is 10, you'd heal 10 every day. Anyway, your fatigue, this is like obviously, probably getting back your points if I remember right. I mean, I'd have to look further in. But anyway, your fatigue heal rate is every 30 minutes. It's the same thing, your endurance score every 30 minutes. Your inact save level, usually that's going to be the same no matter what. There's no way to change it that I know of. I think if you get, if you take unusual endurance, this will change. But anyway, it's basically kind of like a savings throw you get. Like it says, inaction save. And it's based off your endurance. And then unconscious threshold, obviously when you reach that, you get knocked out. That's not really that big of it's kind of a no-brainer there. Acquiring skills. Now, this one can take a little bit of time, and it does... I don't know, if you're someone who hates math, you're probably not going to like it too much. Anyway, skills are bought just like attributes, but the difference is you don't have all those free points starting out. But what you do have, and I'll explain it to you here in a minute. So this is basically your skill works. Basically, you take your attribute score. So like, let's just say your strength is performance level 4 with 10 points, okay? So you would take your 10 points of strength, and you multiply that by your performance level of 4, and that gives you 40 skill points for strength skills. Now, if you want to buy, say, a dex skill using strength points, then your strength is 1 for 1. So you could buy one dex skill at 10 points, or you could buy 4 strength skills at 10 points. That's kind of how that works. I mean, of course, you could actually buy, say you could buy 2 strength skills at 20 points if you want to do that. So, I mean, that's how it works. Basically, it's a little math heavy, especially if you don't spend all your points on the thing. And it's kind of complicated, but it is what it is. So anyway, your skill point bonus, that's just what you multiply. So like if your performance level is 4 and say you have 10 points. Now performance level 4 could be, say, 10 to 14. So, like, say you have 13 points, it'd be 13 times 4 as opposed to 10 times 4. So that's just everything between here is kind of covered. So your performance level 1 is 1 to 2. Your performance level 2 is 3 to 5. Your performance level 3 is 6 to 9. Your performance level 4 is 10 to 14. Performance level 5 is 15 to 20. Performance level 6 is 21 to 27. I think performance level 7 is 28 or more, I believe. So anyway, they're talking about a tally sheet here on a scrap of paper. Just kind of marked down, like if you write down a skill. Let's see, I don't think I copied the skills page, did I? Doesn't look like it. All right, anyway, so after you've done your skills, you'll see the skills a little bit as I make my own character here. So anyway, the next thing you determine is your character's personality, appearance, and age. Let's see, here is a close-up. So basically, you roll 2d6 for your personality. The first roll will give you which one of these charts here, A, B, or C, which mine I rolled a column B, and you roll another d6. I think my guy wound up being snobbish. It's kind of a douche. And then you'd roll 3 dice here. The first dice you'd roll would be for the height, which I think my guy wound up being gigantic. And then the second one you'd roll would be for the build, which I think he was slim. And the third one was for how they look, which I think I got average. Oops. And then the age is, you have 2 ages. You have apparent age and actual age. You roll 2 dice, and obviously the difference is between a human or a Gallifreyan. Your apparent age is always going to be on the human chart. Basically, it's how you look to everybody. So, like, I think my character got mature adult. So that's what it looks like, is a mature adult human who's freaking huge. He's huge, skinny, average looking, and he looks like a mature adult. So probably someone in their, maybe late 20s, early 30s kind of a thing. And then your second D6 you rolled to see what the actual age is. If my character, if I decided to play a human, my character would work. So I rolled a 6 here. If my character was a Gallifreyan, however, he would still look like a mature adult, but he would be 450 years old by that point. So and this is the only difference between humans and Gallifreyans, is Gallifreyans typically live longer. And that's only because of their regenerations. Anyway, so here's my character. He's not complete done. Like you see here, I haven't picked a race or a sex, and I haven't decided how people are going to notice him. But let's see if I can move this in just a little bit here. There we go. All right, so anyway, you see my level is here. I rolled a 9, by the way, for my 2d6 roll, so that gave me 45. So anyway, I spent 4 points on strength here, and then I spent 9 points on endurance. Now here I have enhanced, I wound up with unusual dexterity. I rolled a 14. So that added 5 to my dex. So I had this at, initially I spent 4 points on dex, which gave me a 10. And then I spent 9 points there, and I spent 4 points there, and then 9 points there. And then once I was done, I think I had 6 points left. So I just added the 6 to my dex, getting 16. And then when I rolled that added 5 more, bringing it to a 21, which is performance level 6. So not really what I was specifically going for with this character, but it is what it is. Now you see here the skill points. If I buy strength skills, I have 4. If I don't do strength, I have 10 points. Endurance, as you can see, doesn't have a multiplier because there's no specific endurance skills, and intuition is the same. Dexterity, obviously, because it's so high, 126 and 21. Charisma is 75 and 15. Mentality is 40 and 10. And anyway, so you see, yeah, here we are. I'm gigantic, slim, and average. 34 if I'm human, 450 if I'm Gallifreyan. And mature adult, my writing's pretty bad, and he's snobbish. Anyway, my max op end is 30. Oh, that's right. It's double your endurance. That's. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry about that. I told you that wrong. So it's double your endurance is your max op end. And your current op end is at the beginning, because you haven't been using any end, is 30. Your wound heal, I do 5 per day. It's your performance level per day. And then I guess it's your performance level every minutes. Obviously, these didn't change. My armed combat type, you see my best is level 6. My ranged is level 7, and my unarmed is level 5. We'll get to that in a sec. Oh, that's where I was supposed to put my snobbish. Whoops. All right, so anyway, now the thing with unusual dex is it doesn't have a level or rating or range or an end cost, so that's kind of nice. a bit action points. That's basically like run and shoot, and that's how I have 11 action points every round. Okay, so here's my skills. So administration, I have that at performance level 5. It's got a score of 15, and it's a mentality skill. That's what the little M stands for. So I spent mentality score points to get to that, right? I have armed combat, contact weapons, sword, axe, thrusting spear, and clubbier. Those are all strength-based contact weapons. Whereas handgun, thrown daggers, and staser pistol, because they're ranged, those are dexterity ones. Let's see. Artistic expression, I have journalistic writing. It's supposed to be a mentality one, but I didn't have any room to write it, so I just put it down there. Carousing is a charisma skill. Climbing is a dexterity skill, so, you can see kind of how my character's shaping up here. Environmental suit operation, leadership, and psychology of humans. Let's see, I have security procedures, surveillance, stealth, and concealment. Social sciences, I have economics, British law, political science, and earth history. And then, let's see, sports, they can either be strength or dex, depending on the sport. I feel like swimming is a little more of a strength-based skill, though some could argue it's dexterity-related. I spent strength points on it, so... And then you have a few different choices in there. Let's see, streetwise. And then, of course, I have 2 different types of unarmed. I have brawling, which that's what my character's really got for brawling, And then a little bit of martial arts training, because I figured the character had a little bit of a military... Being a celestial intelligence agency, I see it like CIA kind of training, so... my character can operate ground vehicles, and my character's good at haggling and negotiating. So that's kind of how the character wound up. So how did we get to this point? Where did we get all this stuff? So here's what we're going to do. Okay, here's the back, and oops. And this is where everything looks really crazy here. All right. All right, so here you see I rolled my 2. Oh, that's really... I can bring that out. It's not going to look any better. Sorry. These pictures are brought to you by my Apple iPod Touch iPod and my tremors-infested shaky body. So, so sorry if it's a little out of focus. Anyway, my attributes, I started with the 36 points. I rolled my 2d6. I got a 9 for 45 points. I spent 4 into dex, bringing my 6 to a 10, from performance level 3 to performance level 4. I spent 9 points on charisma. 4 points on mentality, 9 on intuition, 4 points on strength, and 9 points on endurance, leaving me 6 points, which I threw into dex. Then I rolled my special ability, which I wound up with a 14, which on the chart was unusual dex. That added 5 to dex, and then my dex goes to 21, which is performance level 6. So here you see I figured out my skill points. 10 times 4 is 40, 15 times 1 is 15, 21 times 6 is 126, 15 times 5 is 75, 10 times 4 is 40, and 15 times 1 is 15. So here we have my strength skills. And so I started with sports swimming, and I bought that with 6 points. I got armed combat sword for 10, axe for 6, and then thrusting spear I only got to 18, and I ran out of points. Then under dex skills, I got a lot of dex skills, obviously, because of all my points. I bought... handgun at 6, martial arts at 3. Then I picked up surveillance at 10. Security procedures is one of those dexterity/mentality ones. And it doesn't really break down specifically if it's dex or mentality on every single one. So a lot of them you kind of have to guess how your character would do it. For me, I see my character following in the shadows, being kind of like a secret operative kind of a guy. So, or girl, I guess the character could be female. So basically, I bought it with dex. So that's probably how my character operates, is through his dex. So anyway, surveillance I bought at 10. Brawling I bought at 15. What is this? This is my stealth. I bought at 15. Let's see, we got vehicles at 6. We got throwing daggers at 28. That's what I'm really, really good at. Climbing here we have at 15. Let's see, and then I picked up concealment at 10. I'm kind of all over the place when I make my characters, as you can see. Anyway, staser pistol I bought at 3. And then environmental suit operation I bought at 6. Now, as you can see here, I went back up here because I had 9 points left after I was done out of my 126. So what I did was I had spent, 100... I don't remember. Anyway, I took what I spent, which I think was 115? No, 117. And I divided that by 6. And that gave me 1 point something. So basically that gave me 1 attribute point that I hadn't spent yet. So that's 1 point I could spend on non-deck skills if I wanted to do that. Because I already had all the deck skills I wanted, I didn't see a need to put any more in. Oh, technically, darn it. Although technically, I still had some more points left over from the point that I could have used, which I just didn't bother. I can still use them if I want. So I'll come back to charisma here. Going to be a pain in my butt. I bought leadership at 10. I bought verbal interaction haggling at 10, diplomacy at 15, and carousing at 10. And that's all I really wanted out of charisma skills. So I spent 30 points, which left me 45 left out of the 75 I had. Where's my... Oh, here we are. Which, if you go 4 divided by 5, you get 9. So I spent 9 of my 15, which left me 6 that I can skills. Finally, mentality. As you see, I planned on my character being super smart here. But I ran out of points pretty fast, only having 40. I bought Streetwise at 10. I bought administration. I bought artistic expression, journalistic writing team. That was my 40 points. So then I tallied up what I had left, and I had 37 points left. So then I came over here, and I got 3 points for general medicine, 6 points for psychology, 3 points for economics, and then 6 and 6 for British law, political science, and history of Earth. I came over here, I spent 3 points to bring this up to performance levels 2 more. And then I bought club for 4 points. So I wanted it at 6, but I can only afford 4. That's all I had left. Now, for my character to get up to 6, I have to spend, I have to spend time working the skill. So this game uses something a little bit different than other games. It doesn't actually have an experience point setup. Basically, you don't level up. You don't spend character points to increase your... Basically, what you do is you get to spend what's called downtime, basically. And basically, your character can add 1 or 2 points to a skill, depending on how much downtime and what the GM allows you to do. You can never increase your attributes. They're stuck. In our next one, we'll get a look at the doctor's stats. So that's what the doctor's stuck with. And as far as I know, your stats don't change with regenerations. I don't know for sure, though. I'll look up the regeneration thing and I'll get you. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to tune in next time. We're going to be looking at one of the Doctor Who episodes from the more classical eras. If you feel like supporting the channel, I'll leave my link down below. I'm going to see about looking for something else. I guess Patreon does like a subscription system, and I don't really have anything over there on Patreon for you. Maybe I might do like... I know a lot of these other YouTubers do like tier systems. I was thinking maybe I could do like maybe a Skype RPG thing or something. We'll see. I don't know. I'll think about it. Anyway, in the meantime, goal is to get up to 4,000 view hours and 1,000 subscribers so I can get my on, At the very, feel free to like, and or even if you don't like it, you can put the thumbs down. I don't care. Really, what I really need is subscriptions more than anything. The view hours will come, but if we can get me up to 1,000 subscribers, then you get to watch commercials. It's a video. Most of your commercials you can skip after 5 seconds, so it's not that big of a deal. But that'll at least generate me some revenue, so I can update my my stuff, so I can bring you better videos first, and hopefully entertain you a little bit better. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time.